Howdy, listeners. I just wanted to give you all fair warning, since the last episode ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. We won't be finding out what happens to Rachel and Eleanor in this episode. There's been a lot of excitement about that. I just needed more time to coordinate all our talented performers, since just about every main character in the story will be in the same location at the same time. So rather than have a big ugly gap between shows, we're gonna have a brief interlude here with a 2-part special episode, a homage to a radio format that's near and dear to my heart. Fear not, it still takes place in the story thus far deep in the Red universe. Any resemblance to any persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental.
You are listening to The Story Thus Far, the mostly improvised weird fiction audio drama podcast, where even the performers don't know what's going to happen next. Warning! This episode contains the sounds of peril and disaster. It is not recommended to listen to this podcast while driving or performing precision activities, such as stalking prey, putting fitted sheets onto your mattress, writing a cover letter, or negotiating for the release of hostages. The Story Thus Far Season 1 storyline continues. Deep in the Red, Episode 15, The Art of Bell Ringing, Part 1. Created and performed by Walt Patiki, with special guests Heather E. Schwartz and Jennifer Lavenhall.
Coming to you from New York State's beautiful Hudson Valley, this is Shore to Shore AM with Bart Ring. Bart will be taking callers later in the show. The call line is 518. And now, here's Bart.
Hello, Bart Ring here. Lucky to be alive, I assume. I assume I'm lucky, as are you, dear listeners. It's been a rough, what is it now, Hank? 60 hours since the event. The arrival of the Red Sands. The disappearance of most of the world's human population. And disappearance of all the animal life, too, come to think of it. I mean, where did the birds and the dogs and all the other stuff go? Are they with the missing people? I mean, some people still have pets, I have heard, but damned if I know where everyone's going. We may all, well, be damned, actually. The show is Shore to Shore AM, but really we're not broadcasting shore to shore anymore, in spite of the title. Radio signals from the station here are relayed by ground antennas, and those signals seem to hit a kind of wall, I guess you'd call it, a signal cutoff. So far as I can verify, our radio broadcast is reaching some of the Hudson Valley and Albany capital region, and we are not being reached by any of our affiliate stations at this point. Hey, if you can call in and you're further away, let us know. I would love to know who we're reaching. It's been about 60 hours, 70 hours since the world ended, changed. We don't know. It feels like it's been a year. We'll be discussing theories about what the world is doing, among other things, once the call lines are open. But first, a few safety precautions. I'm broadcasting from, well, I don't think it's safe to disclose the actual location, what with the hourglass zealots running rampant out there. But suffice it to say, old Bart here is far below the surface of terra firma. The trick to broadcasting a radio show safely in these troubled times is to keep the broadcast antenna itself far away from the actual speaker and microphone. The antenna had to be placed well above the bulk of the airborne red sand particle still in the atmosphere. And I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum there. I'm well below ground. The antenna is far above, and there's a wide distance between us. Now, you might be asking, Bart, why is this so? Why are you far from your antenna? Well, it seems the entities, whatever they are, some have called them demons. Those voices that seem to hijack most audio-capable devices. I have it on high authority, military authority, that those entities need to access both the radio device and the listener or speaker, if you're on the phone or using a microphone, the listener's mind at the same time as they access the device in order to compromise the device. So for safety reasons, dear listeners, I suggest setting up a long wire antenna, if you have access, a long wire antenna, and get it up as high in your shelter as you can, on the roof, if it's safe to do so. And then I advise listening to this broadcast, or any other broadcast for that matter, from as far below as you can, from your basement, for example, as deep under the ground as you can get and still receive a signal through that wire antenna. Otherwise, as any other survivor no doubt has experienced, the voices of those things will eventually start to come through the speakers, using your own thoughts, your own ideas, and language to confuse, and so it seems to intentionally torment you. On a technical note, I realize there's no longer any cell service, and most of the internet appears to be down. So, aside from other radio broadcasters, you won't be able to call in unless you're fortunate enough to have access to one of the few landlines still in service. But let's hope our survivors' luck holds out and we get some actual human callers. For now, let's recap what we know about the world situation. A few days ago, if days have meaning anymore, red sandstorms erupted all across the globe. We know the phenomenon started in Lake Geneva, when the particle accelerator at CERN, I guess it was an act of terrorism. You could call it that. The particle accelerator was altered, sabotaged in some way by a group of religious fanatics. We've all seen them in the news. We've come to call them the Hourglass Cult, or the Sands Movement, led by the maniacal Reverend Ronald Luber. The end result was the sandstorms started erupting on every continent, and those creatures, those big crustacean spider things, started falling out of the sky all over the planet. We know that the crustaceans are hostile. They have attacked and killed humans. We also know that the crustaceans can appear at times to be human, somehow making us think that they are people we know and trust. Amid the chaos of all this, most of the human race seems to have vanished. Far too many people have gone missing to have just been hunted by those creatures. So the question is, where did all those people go? If you have a theory, I'd love to hear it. So call in if you're able. Some survivors have claimed to hear the voices of missing loved ones or even the dead coming from electronic devices. But this could be a trick of the things, the demons or bugs or the sand or whatever the hell it is. As if this wasn't enough madness, then along came the flying whales. You may have seen them. Enormous creatures that superficially resemble terrestrial whales. Aside from being far larger than any known whale, and having extra eyes and those weird tentacles around their mouths, they arrived with the sands. They seem to have been feeding on the sand or sucking it up, filtering it out of the air during the initial sandstorms. And then out of the blue, or out of the red, I guess you would say, they all just started falling out of the sky, dropping dead. Now, there have been a few deaths caused by those falling whales, but aside from rumors of one isolated incident, I believe in Terrell County, Georgia, that was one of the last satellite updates that I did receive, the whales, they did not seem to act with any hostile intent toward humans. So during all this seemingly random chaos, about 80% of humanity faded away into the red, never to be heard from again. Well, we hope not never. Never so far. Were they abducted? Were they taken? And if so, then by whom? Why were we left behind? Are we meant just to be food for those giant bugs? I have been getting periodic updates from what's left of a few government agencies. News to pass on to you, dear listeners, but that news, it's not good at all. The one bit of positive news I have is that direct satellite communications appear to be working for the few facilities still in operation. So we still have a general idea of the global situation. Locally, things get harder to suss out, but if you're in Columbia or Greene counties, be advised that aside from the creatures and sandstorms, the area is, well, I guess, under siege. We're under siege, if that's the right word. There's apparently a new religious leader, a representative of the Hourglass cult. He's radicalized a mob of followers. Well, this is just horrific. They have the local militia groups who have been trying to protect the survivors. They've been attacked. They've been murdered by these zealots. The makeshift rescue station and shelter that the Mobile Army Reserve HQ had set up in Columbia County was entirely, this is just devastating, it was entirely wiped out last night. The few survivors claim that the mob of attackers seem to have no regard for their own safety. Many of the attackers, the religious mob, appear to be possibly on some kind of mind-altering drug, PCP or the like. Witnesses say they continue to attack soldiers even after being shot and hit multiple times. One witness report claims she saw one of the zealots walk through an explosion and emerge engulfed in flame. And apparently this individual just kept marching into battle until his body fell to pieces. Good Lord. I don't know what's more troubling out of these next two pieces of information. That the members of the mob of crazed attackers were also wearing the same U.S. Army military uniforms as the soldiers they were fighting against, or that they were accompanied by large insect-like creatures, maybe the lobster creatures, I'm not sure. And these monsters fought alongside the mob of zealots when they massacred everyone at the site, soldiers and civilians alike. And, oh, get this, I mean, this is truly baffling. The leader of the angry mob appears to be none other than Dr. Richard Pylon. Yes, that Richard Pylon, famed self-help guru. And I am troubled to mention and admit he was a frequent guest on this program. This news just chills me to the bone. I have always felt that Dr. Pylon was a gifted man. As far as his remote viewing and Reiki teachings go, he's done a lot of demonstrations, astral projection, visualization on this very program. You know, we know he is a learned and gifted man, but to think of him becoming so lost, so twisted, and using those gifts against humanity, well, truly, these are dark times, my friends. Oh, miracle of miracles. Hank is telling me that we have a caller. We'll put him through, Hank. Hello, Bart Ring here. You're on the air.
Oh, hi, Bart. This is Frank. I'm so happy you're still alive.
Well, Frank, that makes two of us. Where are you calling from, Frank?
Oh, I'm calling from Kinderhook.
Kinderhook, north of Hudson, right?
I'm in a neighbor's house. He and his family, well, I guess they're among the missing. But he still seems to have phone service, and I knew he had radio equipment as well, if I can figure out how to operate it.
Well, I wish I could help you with the radio issue. Call me back after the show, and I'll see if I can walk you through using the equipment.
Yes, sir.
My kingdom for a YouTube link. You know, I wish I could send you one, but there's no internet.
Oh, sure. Thanks. Since we have the phone, it's not an emergency.
Did you have, Frank, did you have any questions, theories, or insights into this mess we're in?
Well, it's pretty clear to me that it's the liberals again, you know? The red sands, the giant lobster monsters, the whales.
I'm not following you, Frank.
Well, it's the Greenpeace liberals. They're always wanting to save the oceans and the whales. Well, see? Now the whales are falling on us, and the sand from the beach is all over everything.
I'm still not following you.
It has to do with the power of visualization, Bart. Have you ever read The Secret, Bart? The book, The Secret?
Yeah. Frank, it's been a pleasure. Call back later if you want help with that radio gear. Oh, well, we have another caller. Hello, you're on Shore to Shore with Bart Ring.
Hey, so, my name is Trixie Baker.
Glad to have you, Trixie. We don't usually do last names, but...
Well, first of all, I love your show.
Thank you so much. Always nice to hear.
I listen all the time, and I'm a huge fan. And, of course, you know... It just makes me think about things, and I was thinking about this thing that happened to me, and I just wanted to see what you had to say.
Well, sock it to me, as they say, Trixie.
So, so I one time had this like a dental procedure. I had a wisdom tooth. It was impacted, and I had to get it out, and I had to
Oof, yikes.
get, all the drugs, right?
Oh, yes, I've been there. Oh, yes.
So
You always want all the drugs with that kind of pain.
they told me I could do it without going under. It was like, I could have had, what do they call it? Like that sedation where it's not all the way under.
I know what you mean.
But
Local pain relief versus being knocked out.
then there's the other one where it is all the way under. So I decided to do the all the way under because, I mean, tooth things are just really, that can be painful and it's kind of traumatic, right? So, yeah, so I decided not to do the like part way sedation one and do the whole sedation. So they gave me the drugs. I went in, I got ready. I did what I had to do. I made sure everything was squared away at home. And then I
Always smart.
went in and I got the drugs because I wanted to make sure that everything was squared away at home because just in case I was out of it or something when I got home.
Good idea.
And, I had to like cook dinner and prepare. And so I went into the dentist and there was a really long wait, but
Right.
I was getting nervous, but I knew that I was going to go under. So I went in and they gave me the gas, like the laughing gas first, and that was relaxing.
Oh, we could all use a laugh right now, yes?
And then they did like a IV thing, right? So they put it in your arm. And
Trixie, I have another caller waiting, so...
I was out. I was totally out, right?
Hank, the board, the other caller, are you...
And then
Hank?
they took
Hank.
the tooth. I didn't know anything.
Well,
I
Trixie,
wasn't even there. I wasn't even...
Was there something you...
it was like I didn't even exist. Not just like being asleep, right? But just like you're erased for that period of time. And then you wake up and I was like, well, now, how do I really know that I woke up? Right?
Now I think I see where you're going.
Because maybe... I mean, it wasn't a feeling like sleep. Like, the difference. When you go to sleep and you wake up, you know that you were asleep and you woke up. You know how that feels. But when you do something like you go under and they knock you out, you feel like you're gone, right? Like you don't exist anymore.
Right. Exactly.
But almost like you died, right? But then you come back.
Right. Yeah, you feel the nothing. You feel the nothingness. Yes.
And so I'm just wondering.
Yes.
Like, what really happened? Like, first of all, did I wake up? How do I know I woke up?
Right. Total detachment.
Maybe I'm still there in that wherever I was.
Wow.
And then the other thing is, well, I mean, it's kind of the same thing, but like maybe there's this other realm, right? Where all the people go when they die, but also when they get sedated. And maybe that's happening. Maybe I did wake up, right? But that's happening too for some other people. So there's a lot to think about there. There's a lot to consider, I think. I mean, we don't know. Do we know if this is reality?
Well, yeah, we really don't know anything, do we?
Any of this is the reality that we call reality.
We really don't know anything.
So I'm just saying, yeah. So, yeah, I just wanted to hear what you had to say about it. So
deep stuff.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, where have all the people gone? Are we the ones under sedation? Are they? Well, that's heavy. Big ideas, powerful stuff. Well, thank you. Thanks for that, Trixie. Wisdom from a wisdom tooth. Well, there you go. Another theory. Are we dreamers dreaming this world? Have the missing people woken up? Is that why we don't see them? This whole situation really is enough to make one question the nature of reality. I personally don't believe it's a dream, of course, not literally, but there sure seems to be more than the usual 3 dimensions going on here at work on planet Earth, nowadays. Do you have an opinion on whether or not this is some kind of a shared dream? Are we all hypnotized? Are we sedated? Call in and discuss, please. Really, call in about anything. The lines are open for any topic right now. Hey, Bart Ring, for Shore to Shore. You're on the air.
Hey, Bart. I'm just so happy to talk to someone else.
Glad to be here for you, buddy. And you are?
All right. I'm Gil. I'm calling from Chatham, New York. First-time caller, long-time listener. Oh, shit. Oh, that sounds stupid.
It's okay, Gil. You're doing fine.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry. Oh, man, I swore. Oh, fuck.
I don't have a 5-second delay at the moment, but I'm pretty sure the FCC has more important things to worry about right now. As listeners will know, we normally have only 2 rules on the program. One is no swearing or profanity, no need for that. And the second rule is no callers making more than 1 call per show. But due to the circumstances, I think we're going to forego rule number 1 within reason. No reason to turn this into something illicit or offensive. And rule number 2, we will, depending on the amount of callers we're able to get, we may allow or even encourage, you'll have to listen to instructions, second caller.
Okay.
Is there something you wanted to share, Gil?
Share? Oh, yeah, right. I just need to know, are there going to be food or water deliveries or anything, to people stuck in houses? I didn't really have any supplies in the house, and it's been a long time since I ate. I mean, it's like, 2 days since this happened? At least, maybe 3. It's so hard to tell time anymore. Also, the water here in the house, it's coming out of the tap like it's red, like a little darker than the red sand, but sort of that color, so I'm afraid to drink it.
Oh boy. Yeah, I wouldn't drink that water. Sounds like the sand's gotten into it. I don't know for sure how toxic this stuff is, but yeah, I would not drink it. Don't drink that water.
I mean, I could boil it, the water.
Then you just have hot poison soup, maybe. I would advise against.
So, do you know if anyone is checking in on people, to see if they have food and supplies?
I am deeply saddened to share that the volunteers and reserve troops who were helping guide survivors to the shelters have, yes, well, if you've been listening since the beginning of the show, you know that they were...
Oh, yeah, the Hourglass guys, they killed them.
Yes, I'm sorry to say that's so.
But the military will have to send in more troops, right? And if we hold out for a bit, we'll get help.
I'm not going to lie to you, Gil. I don't think help is coming. If you need food and water to survive, I would advise you arm yourself, wear breathing protection like a cloth over your face, maybe goggles if you have them, and quietly make your way to a neighbor's home or a store. But do it in daylight. It's a little safer in the day.
I'm really scared to go out there, Bart.
I know, buddy. I'm sorry.
Do you think those Hourglass guys have food and water?
I don't know. I mean, I suppose they must, but...
Well, I mean, they're a cult, right? They're like a...
Gil...
They take people, right? They take new followers.
Friend, Gil, listen, buddy. You don't want their help. They are killers. They are insane. And most likely the mess this world is in is something that they all caused on purpose.
Look, I just want to eat, and I just don't want to be afraid anymore. I mean, when I was homeless, I went to a shelter run by a church, and I don't believe in Jesus or anything, but I listened to what they had to say, and then they fed me. They gave me a meal and a place to sleep. I don't see how going to the hourglass people would really be that different.
Gil, I know you're scared and you're hungry, but think of all the people they've killed, the damage they've caused to the entire world. You would really accept help from these people. People who march alongside literal monsters.
Well, I mean, if we all join the cult, then there's no reason for anybody to even fight anymore, right? I just want food and some peace of mind.
Gil, listen, don't do anything. I know we're all scared, but I implore you, Gil, if you're still listening, I implore all of you, do not give in to these religious zealots. These are mass murderers. Hank is telling me we have another caller. You're on the air live with Bart Ring.
Hi, Bart.
Hello.
Hi. Vivian Ashcroft here.
Hello, Vivian.
Yeah, huge fan, Bart. I just want you to know that I am a huge fan, and I have been for years.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's so nice to hear.
So here's the thing, Bart. I think I figured it all out. The whole shebang.
Wow, really?
The sky whales, the red sand, the twinkly stuff in the sky and the air all over the place, the crustaceans, the weird radio signals. I think I've got it all figured out, Bart.
Well, I can't wait to hear it.
And here it is. Neo, stop it.
Never work with kids or animals. I think W.C. Fields said that.
Mommy's on the phone. Stop that barking. Who is the bad dog?
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
Neo, stop it.
Oh, boy.
That's right.
Maybe we should move on to the next caller.
You stop that.
Hank?
Because Mommy is on the phone now.
Vivian?
Sorry, Bart. Sorry about that. So anyway, here...
I think we need to switch over to...
Neo!
Yeah, we'll catch you later, Vivian.
Who raised you, Neo? What a bad doggy you are. Come here, let me give you...
All right.
Let's find your bunny. Where's your bunny? Oh, here... Oh, here it is. Here's your bunny. Now you sit down there with your bunny, Neo, and let Mommy talk on the phone to the radio man and explain everything that's going on. Okay, that's it. That's a good baby. That is Mommy's baby, Neo. Yes, good boy. Mwah.
Then maybe we'll hear back from Vivian later, or Neo if he has a canine perspective to share. Hello, this is...
Bart!
Finny!
How the hell are you? Holy shit, it's great you're still breathing.
Folks, this is Vincent. He's a frequent caller on the program.
Hey,
how have you been there, good buddy?
I'm doing good. I mean, as good as it gets right now.
Oh, glad to hear it. Is the family safe?
Yeah, we're okay. I was all stocked up with the canned and powdered stuff already, so, we got bottled water, too, for the next few days or so, and the kids are driving me nuts, though.
Well, it's great to hear your voice, Vincent. Did you have any comments or theories you wanted to share?
Yeah, I do, Bart. First, Gil, if you're listening, don't be a dummy. Call Bart back after the show, and maybe I can coordinate getting you some water and food, okay? Hang in there and don't do nothing stupid.
Oh, you're one of the good ones, Vin.
Hey, forget about it. Now listen, I got something to say about the red sands.
Do tell. Fire away there, good buddy.
I saw something. It was pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Had me shook up, and I want to share it as a warning to the other listeners. When the sands catch the light just right, when they kind of twinkle like glitter in a flashlight beam or in the sunset or whatever, when the stuff is airborne and it shines and sparkles, don't never look at it. Don't ever look at it for too long.
Why is that, Vincent?
Our neighbor and his wife, they were, I saw them out on the porch, right? They were staring into the sand.
Oh my, what happened?
And, it had been all windy. One of those freaky, like, dust devils that spontaneously whip up lately was going on. In the sand, it was kind of swirling and catching the sunset, sparkling and such. And I see these two out there, and they're giggling like little kids. And they're just staring into the sand, They were, like, entranced by it, the sparkling little bits of glitter in the air. And it got me curious. So, I want to know what they were seeing. So I looked over at it, too. I start staring into it. And the colors and the lights, I swear, it started to, like, make my brain fog up.
Wow.
Like, I started to not be able to tell where I really was or how much time had been passing.
Wow.
And, I didn't even care. It was like I was enchanted by the little glints of light in the air. And at the time, I tell you, at the time, it seemed like the most amazing thing I had ever seen.
Huh.
Like when you're a kid and you see the 4th of July fireworks,
Oh my, what happened?
Right. I couldn't see anything real around me no more. I felt like I was nowhere. I was just floating.
Wow.
Like, not really floating in the air, but like I was underwater, and the water, like, it tickled all over.
Wow.
It's like heavy, like water pushing on me, but yet I was floating. I don't know how to describe it, but it was tickly, and I wasn't afraid of drowning. I could breathe fine.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and I even, like, started to hear bubbles and, like, kind of gushy sounds. And there were, like, little animals swimming all around.
Animals? Animals, you say?
In the orange and red glittery blur. Because, like, everything was just a big, like, pink and orange and red blur all over. And, little animals.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, like little jellyfish or little squids.
Holy cow.
Not like regular ones, I don't think. I don't think there's any like this. These in the ocean. It was more like, they look like when you look at a video of germs under a microscope, only like they were so big you didn't need no microscope. These were little animals and they were squiggling everywhere around me.
Unbelievable.
Oh boy, yeah. And then, like, I looked up, like my eyes, they were like, I was following with my gaze this, like, little thing, like a ribbon made of jellyfish, like a snake, like a jellyfish snake, or some kind of animal, right? It was all twisty, like a slinky. And anyway, I'm watching this thing swim around my head, and I follow it up with my eyes up through the colored air, and I don't know what to call it, water, air. Anyway, when I look up, I saw people.
People? Really, people?
Yeah, like hundreds. There's got to be hundreds of them. There were people. They were all hanging up in the air or the water or whatever it was.
Huh.
Like they were behind a fog of, like, red and orange twinkles. They were just kind of hanging in the air, perfectly still. Perfectly still, but, like, kind of swaying a little. Like when you see, like, seaweed kind of just go back and forth gently with, like, a current. They were bobbing a little. Like balloons. I don't know how to describe it.
Unbelievable. What happened next?
Well, I like suddenly feel this terrible pain in my ankle. I mean, it's really,
Oh my God.
And I was suddenly back in my front yard. There were no people floating in the air, and all the blur of all the colors was gone. I was just in my yard, and it was dark. Like, it was long after the sunset. I have no idea how long I was staring out there.
Holy smoke.
Susie tells me, like, I was gone for like 2 hours. But, since this whole thing started, she's been kind of Xanaxed out. So, but Anyway, it turns out the pain in my ankle, it was my youngest, the little Hellraiser. She whacked me right in the ankle really hard with one of my golf clubs.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she said she hit me a few times before I even like snapped out of it. Anyway, she saved me. She saved the pops, I think, from floating away like one of those balloon people. I mean, geez, I don't know. I could have been lost forever, you know?
And what about your neighbors?
Oh, yeah, them. Yeah, they're gone, Bart.
Oh no.
Like right when I snapped out of the trance I was in, when I found myself back in my yard, standing in the dark with all that red sand, and it was settled all over me. It was weird. It was like all over my skin and everything. Anyway, I look over to where those two had been standing, and for the briefest moment, I could see them, but it's so hard to describe.
Well, try, please, Vincent, if you could.
I could see like holes in the air, like darker than the rest of the darkness. Like they were shaped like Brenda and Kev, the couple next door. There were outlines in the shape of those two, but like they were made of like those inky spots you get in your eyes, like when you're looking at something too bright. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Anyway, I saw these like outlines of Brenda and Kevin, and they were floating up in the air, like real slow, like helium balloons. But they faded away like ghosts into nothing.
My God.
The higher they went in the air, and now this just didn't take a long time. I mean, I just snapped out of it after getting whacked in the ankle. So this only was like 2 or 3 seconds, before they were just gone into nothing.
Huh.
Yeah, and there's more, because this gets real creepy. There was a lady standing in front of their porch, like right where they were. She was an old lady, and she's got like a flower pattern handbag. I could just make it out in the dark. And she had kind of like a purple bonnet. But, I remembered that. I had seen that before. I knew who she was, but she...
Yes?
This gets crazier. She was Brenda's grandmother. My neighbor Brenda, who got faded away. Her grandma, she used to visit.
Mm-hmm.
But she passed away like over a year ago. But there she was.
Wow.
She was standing there and like kind of gesturing up in the air. And she was smiling up at Kevin and Brenda as they floated away and faded into nothing. And I was like, flabbergasted. I was dumbstruck. I just stared. And it was like, oh boy, it's so hard to describe. She didn't change, I was looking at her and she didn't change. Not really. She like still had a sweet old lady face, but I suddenly kind of saw it different, if that makes sense. Like it was kind of a messed up version of a human face all along, and I just noticed. Like, when you go to one of those wax museums, like the really crappy, cheap wax museums, like one of those little places in Florida, and you see like a celebrity wax figure, only it's done really bad. You know what I mean?
I think you mean what they call the uncanny valley.
Well, yeah, I ain't never been there though. But it was like suddenly, without her changing, I could see her differently, and it's like I could see the dead grandma was like a really bad imitation of what she looked like when she was alive. Oh, and I'm telling you, it scared me. It scared me so bad.
Well, I don't blame you. It sounds truly terrifying.
It was terrifying. It's like, but like I flinched, and I guess I blinked. And like in an instant, when I saw her again, the old lady was gone too. But I caught just a little glimpse of one of those lobster things, one of those big like crab animals.
My God.
It was a big one too, like one of the ones that's like the size of like a full-grown person.
My God.
I caught the tail end of it zipping like right over the wooden fence out of the yard. Like it was just running. It was just moving like a blur. Yeah. So I guess just don't stare into that stuff. Do not look at the sand when it's twinkling in the air. You know, I gotta tell you, I think that's where most of the missing people went. The ones the lobsters didn't eat, or that those religious loonies didn't get. They're out there floating. I gotta go now. I'm feeling sick just thinking about what happened, just talking about it. So I'm just telling you all, don't look in the sand when it catches the light. You know, I won't even go outside now if too much of it is blowing around in the wind.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Vincent. I think we all needed to hear that.
Yeah, okay. And if that Gil guy, if he calls back, you call me and give me his number. I'll drop a care package for him. We don't want to lose anybody else to the Looney Tunes out there.
Bless you, sir. Wow. I mean, wow. I've heard so many stories over the years, but wow. It really makes you think. Normally we would go to a commercial or play some music, but my options are limited right now, as is the amount of power I have from my generator. So I guess no one really needs to hear about what product to buy. We're not getting sponsor money anyway. Let's take another caller. Wow, this is terrific. I was so afraid the board would be dark, but we're getting a fine show from our local homegrown listeners. Thank you, Hudson Valley and Capital District. Hello, you're the next caller on Shore to Shore AM. This is Bart.
Sorry, Bart. Okay. So, Neo! What?
Oh, Jesus.
What has gotten
Vivian.
into you? I'm sorry, Bart. He never.
Vivian, maybe put Neo in the bathroom, put him in another room, or, call back when he's asleep.
Bad doggy.
Hank, get back to the board, please.
Mommy's going to. All right, that's it. You are going outside, Neo. Out you go.
Wait, Vivian,
Here we go. Come on. Yes. Yeah. We're going for a walk, Neo. Yeah, that's right.
Vivian, going outside.
Come on.
I would not recommend going outside. I advise against.
Oh.
There's those lobster things are out there. There's militant cult stuff going.
What is that?
Hello?
Neo.
Vivian.
Neo, come back. Neo.
Vivian.
Yeah, no. Neo.
Let the dog go. Let the dog come back on its own.
Neo, come back here.
Vivian, don't go out there.
Neo, you come back here right now.
Vivian.
Neo, come.
You should not be making
come back
that
here,
much
Neo.
noise outside.
Neo.
Oh.
Get back here right now.
Oh, dear.
Stay away from that thing.
Go back
Neo,
inside.
come back
Vivian,
here.
Just run.
Get back.
Run,
Neo.
Vivian. Just
Neo.
run. Go.
Neo.
Go.
Neo.
Vivian. Vivian. I'm sending thoughts and prayers out to Vivian and Neo. I encourage you all to do the same. Vivian, please call back and let us know that you're okay. I don't think she is, though. I don't think she is. I'm sorry. Sorry, folks. I just don't know what to say. That was, let's go to another caller. I think I need that. Hello, Bart Ring. You're on the air.
Hey, Bart. It's Jimmy here from Claverack.
Hey, Jim. What's on your mind?
Well, you may remember I called a few months ago to discuss the connection between shadow beings and Bigfoot sightings.
Yes, Jimmy. Yes, well, I'm sure you have other things to discuss right now in light of current events.
Well, I suppose, I've altered my viewpoint in light of the red sands and the radio demons and such.
As have we all.
But what I'm wondering is, if the red sand is somehow alive and taking people, like your last caller said, I guess, he sort of implied that with his story.
Well, for the sake of this conversation, let's just say sure.
Well, no one has seen a Bigfoot since the red sandstorms, right? So I'm thinking that, and this is a major breakthrough, and I know it's only been a few days, but no Bigfoot. So, A, Bigfoot is a kind of person, because the sands took him too. And B, it sounds like Vinny, was trying to say his neighbors turned into shadow people. So that's huge.
Well, I really don't think that's what this is about, Jimmy, but I do appreciate the call.
No, well, think about it. If people become shadow beings, shadow people, and Bigfoot becomes a shadow being, then that means under the skin, all humans are shadow people, and therefore Bigfoot is the same as a human person too, and therefore Bigfoot should have legal rights and protections like we do, like under the Constitution.
Yeah. Well, that's fascinating stuff, Jimmy. I'm going to take another caller right now.
Okay, Bart. Thanks for having me, and remember, chemtrails are murder.
Well, think what you want, but I suppose it's important to hold on to one's beliefs during these trying times. Bigfoot, huh? Well, I wish Bigfoot would call, and that would be quite a conversation, wouldn't it? Hi there, Bart Ring here. You're on the air.
Hey, this is Craig in Millerton. Am I on the radio?
Craig, you need to turn down your volume, please.
Wait, what?
Craig, you got to get away from the radio. You need to turn the volume down.
Something's wrong. You need to lower the radio.
I can't lower the... I can't... That's not how it works, Craig. Hello?
Hello? I have... What? The radio.
Folks, when you call in, you need to turn your volume down or get away from your device, or you won't be able to participate because of the feedback. Hello, caller, you're on the air.
Hey, Bart, this is Tom in Schenectady.
Hey, Tom, what would you like to share?
Well, it's clear that the government knew this was all going to happen. Sands, all of it. I mean, they raided the sandcastle in Nevada just hours before the Geneva event, right?
Well, yes, that's true. Tom is, of course, referring to the federal raid on the Reverend Luber. I think he calls himself a reverend. Someone will no doubt correct me if I'm wrong. Reverend Ronald Luber was at his flashy theme park of a religious recruitment center in Nevada, the one that is nicknamed the Sand Castle. We used to think that was a cute name, but in light of the current sand issues, not so cute anymore. The Sand Castle was overrun by federal agents. They invaded it, infiltrated it, on the same day as the particle accelerator was sabotaged. This is true.
Right. So they knew this guy and his organization were up to no good, right?
Well, it's been my understanding that they had been after Luber for quite some time. They've been after the entire organization and all the different names of all the factions. Hourglass, Sands Movement, they're really all different heads of the same beast.
Right. And Dr. Richard Pylon, he was a student at the Sandcastle several years ago.
I did not know that, but given the current state of things, I would not be surprised.
Well, yeah, he and a core group of New Agers, they were being groomed for influential positions in the, whole SANS organization.
Well, for now, I'll take your word for it.
Right. So, they had this big falling out, Pylon and Luber and some of Pylon's cronies. Apparently, like Pylon and his buddies, they weren't true believers in the prophecies of the hourglass and all that stuff Luber was preaching. All this second coming of the jailer Pharaoh and that stuff. So, Richard Pylon and his buddies were just in this to make money. So when they got outed from the organization as like infidels or whatever they call them, they basically lost a lot of protection that the church and Luber provided through their attorneys. So they suddenly had to answer for a whole bunch of legal improprieties.
Again, in light of recent events, I'll certainly entertain this, but I cannot verify the validity of this. All I can say is that Dr. Pylon has in the past been a guest on this show, and he certainly had me fooled regarding any evil intent. He always struck me as a wise and pious man, well, until he didn't, until he was a crazed murderer, I suppose. He certainly never struck me as someone who would ever be involved with Ronald Luber and his sand cult. Not from what I knew of him.
Well, dude, he was a phony. Richard Pylon was full of crap. He didn't believe in any of that shit he talked about. I mean, I heard that once he didn't have the church's protection, the feds came right after him, and he cut a deal to avoid doing any time for tax fraud or whatever. And whatever information he told the feds was just what they needed in order to get the warrant or whatever for the raid on Luber's compound, the sand castle.
I'm sorry, Tom, this is very fascinating. If it turns out to be true, even more so, but is there a point you're trying to make?
Well, yeah, man, don't you think it's weird that Dr. Richard Pylon, a New Age huckster who doesn't believe in anything but his own bank account, that now he's suddenly a real leader of maniacal religious fanatics?
Nothing surprises me anymore, I'm afraid, Tom. Nothing at all.
Dude, wake up. Pylon was like a sleeper agent. I mean, it's perfect. He didn't even know he really believed in the religion, you see?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Reverend Luber, he brainwashed him when he was at the sandcastle. He brainwashed Richard Pylon into believing he was in the Red Sands religion. And then he double brainwashed him into thinking he didn't believe any of it anymore until he got activated.
Activated, huh? Like there was a trigger?
Right on, yeah, man. A trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Jack Ruby got activated. Or when Janet Jackson, she got activated during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And we all looked at her boob instead of what we should have really been looking at. Or when George Lucas, remember, he got activated and he put Ewoks in the movie. It was a sign because the Ewoks...
Well, that's enough of that.
You have been listening to The Story Thus Far, Season 1, Deep in the Red, Episode 15, The Art of Bell Ringing, Part 1. This episode was created and performed by Walt Paticki, with special guests Heather E. Schwartz and Jennifer Lavenhar. As always, we'd like to thank freesound.org. All the sound effects in this episode were downloaded from freesound.org. Please consider supporting this show, The Story Thus Far, on patreon.com. Until next time.
13 11 12 6 21 1 2 3 1 6 19 3 1 11 35 31 2 3 10 6 13 29 11 23 3 1 11 9 10 6 13 35 33 11 12 13 1 2 3 20 10 6 21 11 13 12 30 10 33 3 13
call line is 518-32...